Beatles spent most of 1968 in the recording studio, and amassing a large quantity of songs, they decided that they were going to release their first ever double album. But before they could sequence this double album, George Harrison had to fly to Los Angeles to work with Apple protege Jackie Lomax. So he thought he'd stop by Capitol Records and check out the sequencing of the new album. Well, when he heard the mix, he was very dissatisfied. Capitol had put compression on the album, and he thought the sound was terrible. So George ordered a remix or a remastering of the album at Capitol, and he had the directors of Capitol destroy all of the stampers and all of the vinyl pressings that were made with these stampers of all numbers 33 and below. So if you have 34 or above, that's the Beatle approved mix. 33 below, not approved. But some of these still got out, and as we see here is a very rare B28 right there. There's not many of those stampers out there. While all this was going on, John Lennon got his preview copy from Capitol Records, and he noticed that 7 of the song titles were wrong on the album. So he got on the phone with Capitol Records and said, "You need to get those song titles fixed immediately." And 3 days after its UK release on November 25th, 1968, the White Album arrives in the United States, and it is their first ever record on Apple Records, and everyone is excited because this is the first new Beatle record since Magical Mystery Tour in the USA, so we had to wait a whole year for the Beatles' new album, lovingly known in the world as the White Album. Today on another vinyl show, it's the American White Album. Ike Frazier Industries presents another vinyl show with Ike Frazier. Hey everybody, it's your old pal Ike Frazier. I hope everybody's been doing good. Today, we're going to talk about my favorite record of all time, the Beatles' White Album. This is the first record that I ever bought with my own money. When I was 15 years old, I got a Capitol 1986 pressing, still sealed, and of course every one of those has the poster and the photos with them every time. That's how great the Beatles are. But this is my original copy, A1778666. Ooh. Black Apple bags always. And we're going to go over today the hype stickers. We're going to go over what makes a US SWBO 101 an American copy, and how to tell whether or not yours is a first pressing or at least an original 68 pressing, early 69. Because this album sold 3 million copies in 2 weeks. It was the 24 times platinum, the Beatles' most successful album in the United States of America. And of course this one I've had for a long time. I was lucky enough to get this one. It has the posters, all of the American ones open from the side. And they all have the Capitol logo back there. What do we say? Of course, black bags. Always Apple Records in the black bag. But the US one's a little bit smaller. It's going to be a great time because, you know, the White Album was #1 for 9 weeks in the United States. So we're going to be doing some small stories on the White Album throughout. And of course, we'll try to continue going over our rock and roll records. And like we say, if there's a record that you'd like to know about or a record you're interested in hearing about, just leave it in the comments and tell us about it. Also, tell us what your White Album is. What number do you have? If you've got one of those 3 million American ones, or if you got one from another country, we'd love to hear from you too. Tell us what number you got. That'd be really exciting. And so many versions of the White Album. But it's going to be a great video. I hope you guys will enjoy it. And if you do enjoy it, give us a thumbs up, leave us a comment, and if you really like it, subscribe. That way you can tell what we're doing here at another vinyl show. But it's your old pal Ike Frazier. I'll talk to you soon, and let's get into that White Album. Talk to you soon. The American White Album, SWBO 101. Apple Records released the White Album in the United States on November 25th, 1968, and there was quite a lot of hype for this new album because not only was it a new Beatles record, it was the first ever double Beatle record, and it was their first release on Apple Record. And so all of the copies come numbered. So when you originally got your White Album, it was numbered between 1 and 3 million. Now that seems like a really large limited edition, and that was the point. It's supposed to be a little bit absurd. There's a deep stereo stamp on the back of the American White Album. It has a gatefold cover that is side opening for the records, not top opening. A very thick glossy cover slick from a wraparound gatefold that comes around. It has to have brown chipboard on the inside. If it's white on the inside, it is not an original U.S. White Album. The 4 pictures are glossy cardstock, glossy on the front and matte on the back. All of them have the Apple Records ink text and printed in the USA in the little small circle. Now, of course, they all come with the Richard Hamilton poster, and here we see Paul and Richard working on the poster right there. That's pretty cool. And, of course, the poster is very famous. It's as famous as the music is, but in the U.S. it has a glossy front and a matte back, and we see the credits back here for the songs and such, and we'll see that George's songs on this are credited to Apple Music, as are Ringo's. Now, some copies had a sticker on that, and we'll get to that in a minute, but the errors that were found by John Lennon when he got his preview copies, well, Obla-Di Blah-Da does not have any hyphens. The continuing story of is missing from Bungalow Bill. All copies have raccoon misspelled. It's missing a question mark from Why Don't We Do It in the Road. Side 3, all the song titles are correct. Side 4, it has number for Revolution 1 and 9 and no space in between Good Night. All of your original American pressings are also going to have this tiny capital logo in the perimeter print on the B-side. Now the shrink stickers. This is going to be really fun. This is probably the most common one. It is the white and blue, and there's a few variants of that, but it's still pretty cool. A little bit rarer is the black with white text. That's a pretty hard one to find, but still obtainable. It has 4 errors on the sticker, so it's one of the earlier stickers. Now this is called the grocery store sticker, as we call it, because you know that really looks like it's a grocery store product there, but it's pretty cool. This is the yellow BG distributors. Now you'll see BG on the bottom, and that's the record distributor. Now this one has the cool Apple logo, and it's a huge orange sticker. It's day glow almost. Now this next one right here is very elusive, and I've never seen this one before. It is the white with red print, and it even has the SWBO 101 catalog number on it, so that's pretty cool. And this is the light orange, kind of. It's a little bit bigger than the other ones. I'd say, well, maybe a lot bigger. But there's a lot of promo out there for this album, and even Billboard at the time said that this was going to be a real winner. How correct they were. One of the greatest records of all time. Well, what are the value of some of these White Albums? Well, we're just going to go over some of the brief things today, and one of them is this incredible promo poster, $937 on Heritage Auctions. The elusive red and white sticker, $847 on eBay. Like I said, I have never seen this sticker before. That seems like a great deal for that one. Recently sold on eBay, $2,225, a very clean copy with the white and blue sticker. The black sticker went for $1,583 on eBay, but that was many years ago. A white sticker with blue print, that went with 7 errors open, $2,850 on eBay. But now we get to sealed copies with the hype sticker, and we're going through the roof on these. On eBay, the grocery store sticker, $2,750 for a sealed copy with the long orange sticker. The huge Dayglow orange sticker, $3,507 on eBay. That is a really incredible sticker too. It is bright. The yellow sticker, a sealed copy, yellowish orange, $3,551 on eBay. A white sticker with black print, $7,278 sealed on eBay. Another black and white sticker, 8,353 on eBay. And the Champion, still sealed. This one right here has a black and white sticker. It's just in really incredible shape. And this one just sold 2 years ago for an astonishing $11,200. That's about the most you'll get for a stock copy. Thanks for watching, everybody. We'll see you next time.